Next item on the agenda is educational method. I hand over to John May, member of the World Scout Committee and chairperson of the Educational Method Committee, for his input. John May, please.
Mr. Chairman, honored guests, brother Scouts, I'm really pleased to be with you today at the World Scout Conference in Curitiba and by the internet to thousands of people who are watching us from around the world to provide you with some information on the work of the Educational Methods Committee in the last triennium. This is, of course, a really important part of the strategy for Scouting. During the last 2.5 years, we have reviewed our ways of working, in addition to building on the achievements in different areas of educational methods in recent years. We started by setting our work for the movement within the 3 areas developed by the World Scout Committee. We also recognized that there are areas of work in educational methods that are the responsibility of NSOs, which has been helpful in identifying the support that can be provided. We recognized that within WSM, each NSO has a responsibility to develop a youth program based on the fundamental principles of Scouting that meets the needs of young people in each particular country and provide training and support to the adults in Scouting to deliver that program. Some NSOs, which we could describe as leaders of innovation, are working at the cutting edge of youth program, and their support to adults and these NSOs they're pioneering the trends for the future. And it's important to find opportunities for them to share this knowledge, share this experience, share this innovation with others. There are some NSOs, however, who are struggling to provide a quality youth program, are struggling to provide sufficient adults, to provide even a basic Scout experience to young people. We also recognized that our World Scout youth events, such as the World Scout Jamboree, such as the World Scout Moot, in addition to being fantastic experiences for young people, are opportunities for research, innovation, sharing of good practice. We've been working very closely with the organizers of recent past and current world events, particularly Sweden and Kenya, to see how these can be used for innovations and capacity development. These events provide excellent opportunities for sharing ideas and good practices between NSOs and across regional boundaries. We are looking forward to working with the host national Scout organizations of future world events, such as the Scout Associations of Japan and in Canada, to see their innovations and work with them to develop Scouting. So this is an area that we hope to develop considerably in the future. So we are encouraging what is now being described as a consultancy approach, where NSOs will be helped to identify their own particular needs and offer support in areas of experience and expertise. Now, I'd like to focus this short input on a few key areas of the work that we've been doing, particularly those that have resolutions drafted for conference. And the first of these is youth involvement, which has been on our agenda for a very, very, very long time. At the last World Conference, one of the resolutions was to develop a vision and a strategy on youth involvement. Well, we set up a small group to work on this, and you will have seen the results because they're set out in Conference Document 14. We've developed a vision which is on the screen now. No, it isn't. Which is on the screen now. Yay! Phew. Young people are empowered to develop their capacities for making decisions that affect their lives and engage in decision-making in the groups and institutions in which they are involved so that they actively contribute to creating a better world. Now, it's important to note three key aspects of this statement. Number one, it focuses on the personal development of young people, empowering them to develop their capacities for making decisions. Secondly, it has an institutional aspect, engaging in groups and in institutions. And third, we need to recognize that it is not Scout specific. So, the vision on youth involvement that we're presenting to you for adoption at this conference seeks to help our membership be involved in making decisions that affect them from the time that they start Scouting and developing this as they move through the movement. Truly, Scouts in action. And hopefully, this will attract more young people to Scouting as they'll see it as an opportunity to be listened to have their say, to be taken seriously, to make decisions, to discuss, to debate issues with others, to listen to others, to contribute to life in small and large groups, and to be able to use these skills beyond Scouting in the wider world. To achieve this vision, we've set out a framework for a strategy, building on the three areas of youth involvement that have been around in recent years. Youth involvement in the Scout unit, in the community, and institutionally. We recognize that there are a number of different elements that are helpful in maximizing Scouting's ability to involve young people fully in decision-making. We need to help young people develop skills through their participation in the youth program. We need to make sure that youth involvement is included in our policies and our structures. And we need to offer young people the opportunity to use these skills in the wider community. Conference. We can only do this if our leadership believes in the importance of involving young people in the decisions that affect them in a way appropriate to their age and their experience, and recognizing that it is a capacity that needs to be developed. So our attitudes are important too. The framework sets out results, which I hope that we can achieve as a movement by 2020. And we can develop tools, share good practices, and make changes within WUSM to support this. But this tells only part of the story. I had the pleasure and the privilege last week of getting on one of the buses that were organized and traveled down to Blumenau to witness the World Scout Youth Forum. And before we said farewell at the end of an extraordinary week to an exhausting set of Brazilian evenings, an exhausting set of international fairs, of parties and dinners, we did an awful lot of work too. I saw young delegates debate extraordinarily constructively on the recommendations on youth involvement which will be presented to the conference this morning. And I need to be careful because I'm now a middle-aged fat man, and I don't want to appear to be patronizing, but I witnessed some great presentations and displays by the young delegates during the exhibitions. I saw a demonstration of the social impact that the movement has had on society. I've seen that given the opportunity, young people can change the world. Many young people today, sitting in this hall, have been accorded positions of responsibility at the various levels, notably international commissioners in many countries, as represented at the 11th World Scout Youth Forum. So I saw young people initiate discussions and dialogue during the open forum. I saw them draw conclusions. I saw them make proposals for the future. This is a clear indication, conference, that young people are more than capable of paddling their own canoe, and we need to let them do so. Now, those of us who are older. Volunteers in Scouting, and young people too. The other key area of work I want to focus on this morning is volunteering and the support that we give to adults in Scouting. The World Adult Resources Policy was adopted many years ago, and many NSOs have found this a very useful framework on which to base the support to their volunteers and staff in Scouting. In the intervening years, there have been other policies developed and adopted that impact on the World Adult Resources Policy. Work's taken place during the last triennium to reaffirm that the content of the policy is still valid and does make a difference where it is used, so the new areas could be integrated. So, we want to see examples like the importance of areas such as recruiting adults to Scouting and retaining them, the need to provide quality training and support in a way that is accessible to our volunteers, and the need to ensure that all adults who are recruited are suitable to work with young people and that they're fully aware of their responsibilities. It is so important that Scouting becomes an organization that provides good quality support to its volunteer leaders, so that adults who choose to donate some of their time volunteering for Scouting will feel valued, supported, recognized, and have opportunities to take part in activities which motivate them and give them the opportunities to have fun and to make friends. Now, our conference comes at the beginning of a really important year. 2011 is the year when we celebrate the International Year of the Volunteer Plus 10, and in the region that I call my home, it's also the European Year of Volunteering. So we are really happy to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Marco van der Rie, representing United Nations Volunteer Programme. And I don't know if Marco is yet here in the hall. He is. Marco, please stand and be recognized. "10 years ago, the International Year of the Volunteer sought to recognize the tremendous effort of volunteers all around the world and the significant impact that this has had on the lives of communities and individuals. Many governments set up new initiatives to encourage more people to volunteer, and I know that Scouting has embraced this in many, many countries too. Volunteering, as we heard our chairman say yesterday, volunteering is at the heart of Scouting, and it's so important that we recognize this, we value it, we cherish it. So to support our own celebrations, you're invited to have a look at your own purple USB key, the famous key in your bag. There's a special folder related to IYV plus 10 with resources from the UNV and the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. There's also a set of 13 posters available in 5 languages and a diploma of recognition, which you can duplicate and offer to your adult volunteers during the year. Use the material extensively or produce your own. But, brother and sister Scouts, recognize your volunteers because they have a choice. They can choose to spend their free time in scouting, or they can choose to spend their time with many other organizations which have similar claims and can offer similar opportunities. The theme of our conference is Leaders in Innovation, and I suggest that we do need to innovate on our approach to volunteering. We need to consider making our volunteering more flexible. Somebody told me once that volunteering in scouting was just 2 hours a week. Well, maybe it's a little more, but perhaps we can find opportunities by talking to employers and talking to people in the community to create simple opportunities for volunteers that draw people into our movement and then help them to discover the magic that is scouting. It's so important in scouting that we take volunteering seriously, that we value our volunteers, that we provide support and training, and that we recognize the contributions they make, so that scouting becomes the organization of choice for many, many more adults. And those who do currently volunteer with us, stay with us longer. So, examples of resources developed in this area will be found also on your USB key. But I'm sure that the hidden part of the iceberg is all the work that you have already done. And I hope that we'll be able to collect that and benefit from it, all of us together. Another major piece of work following the Jeju conference for the Educational Methods Committee was what you have in Conference Document 15. And what I mean by that is an updated version of the Adult Resources Policy, which you're invited, please, to discuss and to vote on. So, over the last triennium, we've been taking forward the initiatives that were already developed. We've been exploring and experimenting with new ways of working, and there's been some great development work too. To achieve this work, we've relied on a very small group of people. We know there are many, many exciting developments in NSOs, and we need to find ways of sharing those experiences and good practices, not just within individual regions, but also across the wider playing field of the whole world of scouting. We know that as NSOs, we all want to provide quality scouting for young people, so we fully support the consultancy approach. We want NSOs to help to identify their needs and get support to develop scouting. And we want NSOs that have experience to share that experience with others. So we look forward to working with you to develop scouting to meet the needs of young people today, to further inspire and motivate our volunteers so that we can attract many, many more young people and continue to create that better world. Thank you.